My name is Misty Elliott, and I'm from Hayesville, Kansas. I have been lifting my entire life. When I was a kid, I lived in a really small town, and in really small towns, everybody has to compete in every sport, or they don't have the sport. So my fitness level was high. I did softball, volleyball, basketball. I did shot put, ran track, and I also, in the summertime, I was a water skier. I started lifting in high school. We moved from that small town to a larger town, Dodge City, and I didn't have to be in every sport, but I did still enjoy volleyball. And so I lifted to get better in volleyball. And I did really like it. I knew that I was strong, but it was just a means to help improve my volleyball, so I didn't do anything with it. I had a terrible self-image in high school. I was one of those people that never really fit in with anybody. I had a lot of friends, but they were ancillary friends. They weren't ever really good close friends. I got pregnant at 16 because I needed to have somebody treat me like I was worth it. And that didn't work out. But I did get my daughter out of that, and I'm really happy about that. I mean, I have a beautiful daughter and I have beautiful grandchildren, and I wouldn't give that up for anything. Having a child at 17 doesn't do a whole lot for your self-image. You just never feel like you are good enough because you screwed up in high school. Fast forward to just meeting my husband. We had our first child together, and I had gained a lot of weight, and all I knew is that I wanted to lose the weight. And he said, we can go to the gym, but the only thing that I know how to do is free weight. So if you want to follow me, great. If not, I don't know what you're going to do. So I followed him. The first time I got under a bar and I lifted the bar, I felt liberated, and I knew that I was stronger. My husband called it being bit by the heavy metal bug, and he was so right. Like, I've been bit and I have had the disease for 20 years. Like, I absolutely love it. I was looking into competition, actually training for my first competition, and I started losing strength. And we couldn't figure out why. And my husband just asked, when was your last period? And I said, well, I don't know. And he said, well, maybe we should do a test. And lo and behold, I was pregnant. And so competing that year went out the window. And in the middle of that, my husband lost his job. And we moved to South Carolina, pregnant. I had my son, and then I had my older daughter at the time, who was 14. And I worked out all the way through the pregnancy, thinking that I'm just going to bounce back and everything's going to be great. And then my second son was born, and he was born with colic. It was 6 months of pure hell, and I didn't leave the house for 6 months. I really felt defeated and very depressed. I definitely had postpartum depression. I just felt like nothing. I felt like the mother of a child. I felt like that was my entire worth, was taking care of these kids. And not that that isn't a beautiful thing, but I lost who I was before in my brain. And I did feel defeated and sad and disappointed in myself for not just bouncing right back. And I couldn't do it anymore. We moved back to Kansas so that I could have help from my family. But the struggle began being normal. My husband worked full-time, I worked full-time, We had put kids through school, life goes on. I didn't go back into the gym. After I don't know how many years of sitting at a desk and having terrible posture, my back started to really bother me. I have a family history of bone issues. My mother has a disease that I can't think of off the top of my head that is a bone degenerative disease. Now they've decided that it's osteoarthritis, but she had a disease as a child that caused her bones to deteriorate. And we worried for a long time that I probably would go down the same road. I had an injury in high school doing high jump. I did the jump, I missed the mats, and I landed flat on my back on the asphalt, and I cracked 2 vertebrae in my back. I've had back pain ever since. And we think that that's probably where it stemmed from. It was probably just a weak link in the chain that never healed quite properly. And so when I was lifting, if I didn't lift properly, which of course we never knew anything about proper technique when we were lifting as younger people, I probably did some damage to it that caused everything. By 2013, my back hurt so bad I couldn't sit at my desk for long periods of time. I couldn't walk without a cane. I was hunched over. I was 40, and I thought that life was pretty much done. I went to the doctor. They said that I had herniated discs. I did 3 rounds of physical therapy. I did 3 rounds of epidural shots. Nothing helped. So I opted to do a discectomy and lumbar fusion of my back at L4, L5. It corrected everything, but my doctor told me that I should not lift anything over 50 pounds again. I really just thought, well, I can't go back to the gym, so I don't know what else to do. I'm not going to do anything. And depression kicked in pretty hard. And I didn't lose my job, but I quit my job and sat on my butt and gained a lot of weight and got really depressed. And we had a major life tragedy happen in that time that really caused a lot of pain and made it worse. My best friend wanted me to get out more. She was worried for me, as best friends should be. And she wanted me to join a group called the Adventurous Babes Society in Wichita, which is a great society. I love them. But she made me do it. And one of the adventures that we went on was a boot camp with Kate Jones. The funny thing about the boot camp was, one, I did not sign up for it. She signed me up for it. My friend did. And because I didn't want to go, because I was overweight and I didn't want to be embarrassed. And the second funny thing that happened is that my best friend got a kidney stone and was in the hospital the day of the boot camp. But because I don't back out of things that I say I'm going to do, I went. And I met Kate, and I worked out, and I was sore as hell. But I knew from that moment, hey, I can work out. I can do this. But I still had enough depression and enough lack of self-worth that I didn't go forward and talk to Kate again for 6 months. Kate had emailed me about a boot camp that they were starting in January. This was in December. And I thought, you're crazy. There's no way that I can do a boot camp. But I emailed her back and I said, I'm not interested in the boot camp, but I might take some personal training because I would like to get the weight off. Well, that just started a whole new life for me. I walked in and Kate took over, and she pretty much wouldn't take no for an answer for anything, and made me give up all of my excuses and pushed me to do a little bit more and a little bit more. And one day she put me under a barbell, and I think it was bench press, and she said, let's just see how far you can go. And I bench pressed, I think, 140 pounds that day. And I thought, oh crap, the heavy metal bug bit again. I just decided from that moment that that's what I wanted to do. And so I worked out and wanted to lose weight and lost more weight, and I lost weight pretty steadily through 2018. And January 1st on 2019, I had a decision to make because I had been vaping for 5 years, and I knew that I could not afford to vape and pay all the fees and buy all the equipment and have all of the training that I needed to be a powerlifter. So I threw my vape away. I was spending about $40 a week on vaping, and I never looked back. I have not once touched it since. I competed the first time in March of 2019, and I hit a record in bench press. I've had a couple of setbacks in the past few years. After my first competition in March of 2019, I had an ankle injury that was left untreated. It turned out that I had torn out all of the cartilage in my right ankle, along with the ligaments. I was told by my husband that if I didn't go to the doctor, he was going to drag me in because it was pretty bad. So I had surgery pretty much right away in October of 2019 on my right ankle to reconstruct the cartilage and to tie the ligaments back together. In that time, I got a blood clot. And so that set me back a little bit further because I had to be on blood thinners. I was released to start training on March 1st of 2020. COVID-19 shut everything down, I believe, probably around the 15th of March. So I did a lot of home workouts. I couldn't lift heavy, but I could still move. And honestly, I think that that was one of the things that propelled me forward for this last meet. I went slow. I really rehabbed my ankle. I also in that time got to rehab my back in some ways, and I built up myself stronger. Ended up PRing 20 pounds heavier on every single lift at my last meet. It forced me to rethink some things, slow down, and work on fundamentals. I'm amazed to this day that was all me. I did all of that work. I pushed myself that hard. I had the confidence in myself to do it. I knew what I wanted to do. I followed through and I finished it. And I think that that was the first time in my whole life that I had ever done that. And from then on, it's been balls to the wall. I love this sport. I love this sport because it pushes me every day to be the best person I can be. I never want to feel the way I felt before I walked in the gym, and I don't ever want any woman to ever feel that way. Being in a group of women who are like-minded in the gym, and we all have goals, but they're different goals, it's just electric. And we feed on each other so much. Like if somebody's having a good lift, you can hear it through the whole gym. Like there is yelling and screaming, and it gets your blood pumping, and it makes you want to work harder. And not only that, but you also have people that are going through the same thing you are. If they're having an injury that they're having to work through, or a mental block that they're having to work through, you can talk that out, and it's all right here. I mean, it's the tribe, it's the group that you're with all the time, and they're like your sisters. They know when something's wrong, and they're there to pick you up whether you want them to or not. They help you mentally out of the gym as well. Like you can, I don't know how many times and how many people in this tribe I have texted or called and said, I just need to talk, and they're there to listen, and you can't beat that. Powerlifting and meeting a lot of women that have like-minded ideas as mine when it comes to strength and powerlifting has helped me to find a calling, and I want every woman to feel the way I feel when I step on a platform. I decided to found a gathering of women called Wichita Women Powerlifters, where we can support each other and give resources and answers to questions, and just support and love each other and bring more people in to this sport. I truly believe that the future of powerlifting is female. There are so many more females that are lifting now than there have ever been in the past. And the old stigmas are being broken. And so I wanted to bring together Wichita women powerlifters so that we all had a place to go to talk, to have a forum, and to feed upon each other. And I've been so happy to meet all of these new people, or people that have been lifting forever that I never knew were lifters, and get their input, and just have this community of women that are strong and strong-minded and want to do better in the world. For me, powerlifting has changed my entire life. It has made me more confident. It has made me strong on the outside, but it has also made me really strong on the inside. Today, I'm a better person because I'm powerlifting. If you've got back issues or injury issues, find a physical therapist, find a good coach, do it properly, but do it. You have a lot more in you than you think you do, and you will find yourself. My current personal records are squat 325 pounds, bench press 220 pounds, and deadlift 330 pounds. My goals for the future are to compete on a national stage, and to bring more people into this, and help other people get on that stage and lift a weight. I've always said that the strength that I have gained from powerlifting has seeped into the cracks of my mental state and fortified that and made me stronger. You still have to do mental work, but having self-confidence, feeling strong, those things help in your mentality. Those things help in building who you are as a person. Don't count yourself out just because you don't know where to start. Just start.